Hey everyone, it's Lexie. So in today's video I'll be sharing with you my fall TBR. So these are books that I want to get to this season. So a lot of them actually are ones that I've kind of waited to read around this time. I feel like they either are books to immerse yourself in, bring you back to school, or kind of just fit those dark, rainy, like fall aesthetic photos you see on Instagram and Pinterest. So these are books that have been on my radar for a while that I've just been waiting to get to this season. So without further ado, let's get started. So this is a book that I picked up when I was in Ireland for my honeymoon earlier this year, and I've just been waiting for the fall season to pick it up. And it is The Morrighan by Kim Curran, and this one just seems so interesting. So it says, from an ancient storm-tossed sea, a tribe of gods reaches the rocky shores of Ireland. Among them, a strange, hungry, red-headed girl. A girl who can change shape from bird to beast to goddess. A girl who dreams of battle, of blood, of death and power. She does not yet know that a woman who seeks to rule will always be in danger, or that there are far more treacherous figures in this land than the gods who raised her. She does not know that one day love will burn so deep in her heart that its scars will never heal. That she always know pain so raw and pure it will almost tear her apart. She does not know that her journey will take 1,000 years, that her name will be remembered for 1,000 more. She is the Morrighan, and she is waiting, a girl with rage coiled in her chest, beautiful, powerful, ravenous rage, a rage that will live forever. I feel like this is just kind of the perfect book to read right now. I feel like it is just totally, kind of just fits the vibes of autumn. I feel like it is just going to be really fun to read, and the bookkeeper, or the bookseller that I got this book from said she really enjoyed it as well. So like I said, I've been holding out reading it till we get to kind of this part of the year. Next, this is a book that I got from my library. They were selling them for a couple dollars, and for a hardback it was $5 actually. I thought that was a pretty good deal, and I feel like, I don't know what it is about, like, you know, the fall seasons that really kind of speak to me, but it is the Dictionary of Lost Words by Pip Williams. This one just sounds super intriguing. So it says, Esme is born into a world of words. Motherless and curious, she spends her childhood in the scriptorium, an Oxford garden shed in which her father and a team of dedicated lexicographers are collecting words for the very first Oxford English dictionary. Young Esme's place is beneath the sorting table, unseen and unheard. One day, a slip of paper containing the word bondmaid flutters beneath the table. She rescues the slip, and learning that the word means slave girl, begins to collect other words that may have been discarded or neglected by the dictionary men. As she grew up, Esme learns that words and meanings relating to women's and common folks' experiences often go unrecorded, and so she begins in earnest to search other words for her own dictionary, the Dictionary of Lost Words. To do so, she must leave the sheltered word of the university and venture out to meet the people whose words will fill those pages. This just seems super interesting. I love how it really kind of ties in that academia library setting, but also integrates a lot of, you know, feminism and kind of minority populations into this. So I feel like this book will address a lot of great themes, and so I'm really excited to dive in. Like I said, I feel like this, because it is in such a kind of fall school library setting, I've been kind of holding out reading it, and I feel like this is a very like autumnal looking cover as well. Next, diving into another book that has kind of a dark academia vibe. This is also a mix with fantasy, and it is A Deadly Education by Naomi Novak. I'm really excited to dive into this one. I've again been holding out reading this one until we kind of get to these Burr months, but I've heard great things about it. I loved Spinning Silver and Uprooted by her, so this is her like fantasy trilogy that I've heard great things about. So it says that I decided that Orion Lakes needed to die after the second time he saved my life. Everyone loves Orion. Everyone else, that is. Far as I'm concerned, he can keep his flashy combat magic to himself. I'm not joining his pack of adoring fans. I don't need help surviving the Scholamace, even if they do. Forget the hordes of monsters and cursed artifacts. I'm probably the most dangerous thing in this place. Just give me a chance and I'll level mountains and kill untold millions, make myself the dark queen of the world. At least that's what the world expects. Most of the other students in here would be delighted if Orion killed me, like one more evil thing that's crawled out of the drains. Sometimes I think they want me to turn into the evil witch they assume I am. The school certainly does. So the Skull of Mace isn't getting what it wants from me, and neither is Morrighan. I may not be anyone's idea of the shining hero, but I'm going to make it out of this place alive, and I'm not going to slaughter thousands to do it either. Although I'm getting serious considerations to just one. This one just seems interesting. I heard it's like a kind of magic school setting, but it's very much kind of hyper competitive. The school is very dangerous, so it is common for students to be killed, and our main character in this one is very powerful, but she kind of walks a thin line between, you know, good powerful and evil powerful, and so she kind of has to kind of work with that, which I find really interesting, a very interesting dilemma. And I feel like this is good to read on like a cold kind of winter, or cold rainy kind of fall into winter you know, vibe, kind of February vibes basically, or November vibes. So I feel like this is the perfect book to read kind of around the kind of fall months where it's starting to get dark outside, it's wet, it's dreary, you just want to stay inside. I feel like this really kind of fits that vibe, but also kind of has that like back to school feeling as well. And lastly, these next two are kind of new releases that I again have been holding out to read. This one in particular is one that I have been, for some reason I really want to read it in November for whatever reason, and it is The Fallen and the Kiss of Dusk by Carissa Broadbent. This is the second book in her kind of newest duology that follows Misha, who is one of the characters in the Serpents and the Wings of Night. So I won't spoil the premise of this one because I feel like it is very spoilery, not only for the first duology but also the first book in this one. But this takes place, essentially the first book in this duology, because the storylines are connected, is we follow this human who's being raised by one of the powerful kings of this vampire world, and she wants to compete in this basically like intense competition for, if you win you are granted a wish by one of the goddesses. And so this only adds a lot of, you know, there's a lot of political intrigue. The vampires are very cutthroat, very intense competition, and so the dynamic between a human who kind of hates the vampires for a lot of reasons, but also kind of wants to be a part of their world is very interesting. But this follows one of these side characters. And this one, the first book in this duology ended on such a cliffhanger, so I'm really excited to dive in. But like I said, I feel like this is just a November book for me. I have no idea why, but I've decided that this is going to be a November read, so I'm excited to see how this one ends, especially because the first book in here really ended on like with a bang, so I'm very excited to see how this concludes. And lastly, this is just a new release that I feel like everyone is talking about right now, and is Katabasis by R.F. Kuang. This is her newest book that has come out this season, and I'm really excited to dive right in. My husband has read it as well, and he has really enjoyed it, so I'm excited to dive in. I've only read Babel by her, so I'm excited to see what this one has in store, but it says, Alice Law has only ever had one goal: to become one of the brightest minds in the field of magic. She has sacrificed everything to make that a reality: her pride, her health, her love life, and most definitely her sanity. All to work with Professor Jacob Grimes at Cambridge, the greatest magician in the world. This is until he dies in a magical accident that could probably be her fault. Grimes is now in hell, and she's going in after him because his recommendation is the key to her future, and he could hold her dreams and is now in corporeal hands. Unfortunately, her rival, Peter Murdoch, has come to the very same conclusion. With nothing but the records of Orpheus and Dante to guide them, bundles of chalk to draw the pentagrams necessary for their spells, and the burning desire to make all their academic trauma mean anything, they set off across hell to save a man they didn't even like. But hell is not like the storybooks say. Magic isn't always the answer, and there's something in Alice and Peter's past that could forge them into perfect allies or lead to their doom. This one just seems like a book that I really just want to lose myself in. I felt like, especially with Babel, I do have the Poppy War on my TBR, but I feel like that one is more of a winter read for whatever reason. But I felt like she just was able to create really complex three-dimensional characters that were really flushed out, and having their kind of interaction between them So I'm really excited to see what this one has in store. I feel like this one leads a little bit more, I've been told, into like the romance side of things. So I'm very excited to see, you know, finally pick this one up. And yeah, just the end pages on this one too are quite pretty as well. So I'm excited to dive in. And like I said, I've heard great things, so I'm, you know, just really excited. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below what some of your fall TBR books are and all of that fun stuff. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you guys next time. Bye, guys.